Hi, my name is Joe, and did you know that there are only 6 spaces across and 8 spaces down in a map in Fire Emblem Heroes? I'm just asking, for fun. Nothing has gotten out of hand.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Uh-huh. Oh, he goes again. He goes again. Alright, yeah, so Emblem Sigurd is here, and I didn't think he was gonna be as crazy as he is. Let's take a look at his stat line first. We have good HP, great attack, great attack, not the worst speed somehow. If you're investing in this unit to plus 10, you could honestly get away with doing like a little speed build on him. Really good defense, which is really important because he scales off it with his weapon. I'll get to that in a little bit. And res doesn't even matter. Let's get into the weapon. So, he's got Canto 3, which is, if you watch my Shadow Shift video, minimum amount of Canto for like a good Shadow Shift user, and like minimum amount for like a great Canto user, period. Slaying, which is standard. And then we get Gallop. And Gallop is basically a status that gives you movement plus 2. That, combined with Pathfinder, is how he was able to move from literally one side of the map to the other side of the map in that preview. Yeah. Insane thing, but it is a status, and I'll get to why that's important in a little bit. Now, for the bulk of it, he's got Omni plus 5 to stats, which goes up to 14 based on how many foes are in 3 rows, 3 columns. 20% defense-based true damage, which is really nice. 50% DR shredding, and 7 healing post-combat, which is whatever. It kind of sucks because you could viably use this unit as a Gale Forcer. Yeah, this healing kind of screws things more than it helps things. Now for his perf special, Override. If you played Engage, you know that this was like the most fun, bonkers thing in any Fire Emblem game. Like, in Engage, it would like pierce through anybody in a line, as many people were lined up, and you could kill like all of them, potentially. It was like the only time in Fire Emblem history, correct me if I'm wrong, where you could kill more than one thing at a time. It was so fun. So I was really curious how they were going to do it here. And it's thankfully not being able to kill more than one thing with an AoE. That would be ridiculous, but it's the next best thing. So it's Growing Wind, right? But you still maintain the 1.5 times multiplier. And then you also get Gale Force if you AoE more than one person at a time. So you AoE this huge AoE with a shitload of damage. If you get more than one person with the AoE, you get Gale Force, and then you can just do it again thanks to Momentum, which I'll get to in a little bit. And then the last part of it is you get the Armored Beacon, Armored Blaze style DR, where it's like, oh, if you or your opponent have your special ready, blah, 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 right? It's 40% DR basically all the time. So let's get into the skills. So he has Excel, which is a newer skill, but we've seen it on a couple units, so I'm just bringing it up in case you're not familiar. It's basically Clash 5, and you get more stats, you get flat DR up to 7, and then you get special flat DR up to 12, I believe. So yeah, Excel is an amazing skill on so many units, and it's really good on him too. So we also get the return of Fatal Smoke from his legendary variant, and this time in the tier 4 version. Really good to see, and it gives him anti-miracle, and it basically the main use for this is going to be you AoE somebody, you kill them hopefully, and then you Gale Force yourself from the special, and then go around and take out somebody else that's weakened and can't really heal as much from the Fatal Smoke. Really nice to see. Probably not best in slot though. That'll probably be Shadow Shift, but we'll see. Now let's get into the real stuff. Momentum 4, which is a brand new beast skill, and it's insane. So, if unit or foe moves, you inflict attack defense -4, you get a guaranteed follow-up, you get up to 20 true damage based on how many spaces moved, and that's including your AoE. which adds on to the true damage from your weapon, which is also including your AoE. So you get double AoE stacking true damage. You get special jump, -2 if you or the opponent moved 3 or more, and if it's less than that, you get -1. Incredible. I really regret not sparking this unit. I got one early in my summoning video, and then I ended up sparking Celica because I wanted the merge and whatnot. I'm an idiot. But yeah, this skill is insane. So let's talk about the ring. This could be arguably the strongest ring we've gotten so far, which I know we say about every ring that comes out, but yeah, this thing's absurd, dude. You get a mini clash effect on your special. It does a little more damage. You get +1 movement to everybody except ranged calves. Thank God. If that was available to ranged calves, the game would be over. It would just be over. And then Canto 3 or 2, based on if you're melee or ranged, respectively. This is insane. I think people expected the +1 movement to be in his ring, but I don't think we anticipated the Canto 3 and 2 to everybody. Like, that's just absurd, and I'll show you some examples of that later on. Overall, an incredible unit, incredible ring, incredible fodder. Yeah, pretty much a home run here. So I think we should start out by talking about the implications of his emblem ring. Shadow Shift is the first thing that comes to mind for me, and I'll show you an example of something real quick, like
it's over for
you
them.
just move there, and with Ajra, who, if you watched my Shadow Shift video, you'll know I think she's the best Shadow Shift user in the game, bar none. And I took off her Perf Axe because it gives her Canto. So she just has no Canto on with the Sigurd ring. I dance her, and then look at that. I got Canto 3, and that's it's a little bigger than usual because she has Pathfinder. But yeah, this is Canto 3, and then I can Shadow Shift somebody in, right? Incredibly strong. And to the guy in the comments on the Shadow Shift video, there was one guy that commented about Legendary Ninian, and I was like, nah, that wouldn't really work because you can only get like Canto 1 from Firestorm Dance or whatever the Tier 4 dances are, right? But now, you know, just like a week or two later, you can just give her Canto 3. So if Ninian guy is watching this video, you can do it now. Go for it. So another thing that's gotten buffed due to Sigurd's ring is definitely Pathfinder. You get more movement, you get more Canto, more playmaking with Pathfinder, and you can do funny stuff like this also. I have the Sigurd ring on Marnie, and you know, 1, 2, 3, and guess what? I go in, her not killing is not the point. Look at this, dude. This is an armored unit, by the way. Armored unit with Miracle that refreshes itself and she heals herself. Yeah, this is a problem. This is a problem. I don't really need to say anything. This is just insane. Get ready to see a lot of that in Arena, for sure. Anyways, there's not much to say about the ring. It's just like... It almost rivals Marth tier of you could just put it on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like... Put it on anybody that doesn't have Canto already, and you're going. You could even put it on Felix, you could put it on an armored unit to give them more movement and Canto like I just showed. You can give it on your favorite dancer like Ninian to give her Canto and Shadow Shift. Like, the playmaking, it's off the wall with this, and it's probably the strongest ring now, in my opinion. I can actually answer a question right here too. Does stall beat Gallop? And the answer is unfortunately no. I'm going to play the footage from the beginning of this video actually to show that. I have Duo Thor proccing the stall. It's like a seeking stall, and it just doesn't work on him. Stall only works if the movement buff is +1, and the movement +2 is a completely separate buff that's not affected by it. So yeah. Eat shit and die, I guess. So let's talk about the unit itself. On paper, it's pretty straightforward. You just go in, you nuke somebody's face off with the AoE, preferably getting more than one person stuck in the crossfire for the Gale Force, and then you either kill something else or you fuck off, right? Pretty simple. But I think we can take it a step further. I'm running a 67 HP build. with HP +5, the seal, and summoner support in order to dodge the Hex Trap, and this is for ARO. You're going to get enough bonus stats in attack and whatnot to compensate for losing XL, and in return, you're able to dodge Hex Traps and do stuff like this. And then Gale Force, and then, yeah, do whatever you want. And if you have Shadow Shift on him, then you could kill something else, and then Canto all the way back, and then Shadow Shift somebody in, like Felix, and then clean up even more. Like, so yeah, that's one way to use him in ARO. So another thing that's really important when it comes to building him is Celica Ring. This is probably just going to be the emblem ring of choice for him, bar none. He doesn't really benefit from Marth Ring, he doesn't really benefit from Ike Ring as a player phase nuke, and yeah, this is the only one left, and it's amazing on him. So for example, we have Brave Robin set up here with her stones. This isn't a real map by any means, but a lot of the higher tier defenses basically all run Brave Robin. The stones are everywhere. Or the ice cubes, rather. So, getting around that is a big issue, and Celica Ring gets around that on paper. So, we can combine this Celica Ring with the 67 HP to warp over the ice block, deny the Hex Trap, go in and kill, right? Just as an example. However, this does lose to Gatekeeper, obviously, and just like with Brave Robin, a lot of the higher tier defenses also have Gatekeeper or Myrrh to set up the warp bubble of some kind. So this is by no means a foolproof strategy, but it is best in slot as far as emblem rings are concerned. Alright, important thing to note, number 3, being able to ignore Obstruct. So, we just talked about how Gatekeeper is a big deal because he denies the warping from Celica Ring. But what about Obstruct? On ARO, a lot of people are starting to use Obstruct on Ike or Alphonse, for example, to prevent Felix from coming in, and then they have Gatekeeper in the back to prevent Felix from warping in. You know what I'm saying? However, Sigurd is unique because with his 5 move, he can do something like this. So, for example, he could come up, do this. I literally had to put Marnie in just so Alphonse wouldn't die, by the way. Yeah. So Alphonse survives, he still has Obstruct up, right?
Ready to go.
So I can't just do this if I'm a normal unit. However, this unit has so much movement that I can do and just go around the Obstruct, dude. This is not okay. It's not okay. And then just take out the unit that I'm trying to kill. Obstruct means nothing to this unit, and I think that's just super funny. As for synergies, I think this is going to be a pretty compact list. It's just going to be Shadow Shift users like Ajara, and someone like Crom who can duplicate the Gallop. And for example, I have him with the Sigurd ring, which frees up his B slot. I used to have Trace on here, and now I can put Snag on again. So then you can do something like this. Boom. Sabotage. And then now Crom has the Gallop. And since the Sigurd ring gives movement +1 as a status, if you have that on Brave Crom and then reposition Sigurd, you get the movement +1 from the ring and the movement +2 from the Gallop. So I'm not saying that it adds to +3, it's just 2 separate bonuses that add on to Crom's infinitely stacking weapon. So you get all the bonuses from doing that, and then you can come in, boom. Yeah. Very, very strong. But yeah, Crom and Sigurd, very, very strong combo. And like I mentioned earlier, Shadow Shift users, if you put Shadow Shift on Sigurd, and then you go in, nuke something, Gale Force, nuke something else, and then Canto all the way back, you can bring in somebody like Felix, like I said. I'm kind of beating a dead horse here. If you watch my Shadow Shift video, basically, the TLDR is you can use it on Felix. So yeah, I'm honestly considering putting Shadow Shift on Sigurd from my remaining Regan because it's that good, and I think it's that good on him. As for users of the Sigurd ring, it's going to be anybody with a perf dance like Ninian from the comments section, somebody like Crom who does very well with Sigurd himself, and then it frees up his B slot so he doesn't have to run Kanto in the B slot. An armored unit like Marnie, who can just get insane value out of it, being able to move 2 spaces and then Kanto 3. Yeah, pretty insane on armors, especially Marnie. But even somebody like your favorite melee nuke, I think that Emblem Marth, if you have a really invested Emblem Marth, like you +10 him on release, and you feel like he fell off, I think this is a good way to breathe some life into him. Like, 3 move, you could run double clash, you could put XL on him or whatever, and then Kanto all the way back. I think it's really good on him, and units like him. Alright, let's get into how to actually deal with this unit. So, this is the most layer 1 example of what you might be thinking of. So, you're gonna full send Ike.
Am I up?
Tried and true. I get it, bro. My favorite flavor of Elmer's is blueberry muffin. I'll save some for you. But look, Sigurd comes in, and that's fine. But then he survives and has enough movement to just go around the Obstruct and kill Goto anyway. So that's not gonna work. So here's the simplest example of something that actually does work, and it's with 2 free-to-play units. We have Seteth with his Refine, and all he's got on him is double drive defense, and then we have Marnie, who just came out with minimal fodder. I mean, save is still kind of annoying to get, but these other 2 you can get from pretty much anywhere. And I have her at +1 with the Dragon Flowers. Nothing crazy. So, let's see how they do.
Okay. Let us begin.
So you'll notice how I position Marnie outside of the range of the AoE, so Seteth takes it, and then Marnie strikes back with Vengeful Fighter, survives. It's all good. So another near save that can do the job is actually Nagi. Granted, you do need Hardy Fighter for this, but the reason that she works so well is because she has that 80% AoE reduction built in. So you don't even need stones. If you don't have any stones on your account, and you have Nagi, this is an option. So, watch. Let's just leave them here. AoE, she takes 9 from that with no stones, lives with 10. And then let's see what happens after. Another AoE. Takes 0 from the first hit and kills on the retaliation. And this is with minimal support. So an example with stones would be somebody like Marnie, who's free to play, and somebody like Fallen Numera, who can provide the stones. This could be Fallen Numera, it could be Brave Corrin, who's the first person to have stones, and then also regular Lumera, Mythic Lumera. So what's important to note with my example also is that I have Ruse 4 on my Lumera to simulate Mythic Lumera. So let's do that. And then let's see what happens. And this is with a pretty minimalist Marnie. Like, even if you had that second merge or any tier 4 skills, this will be way less close. And on the opposite end of the coin, you have someone like Goto, who you can only run in Light or Chaos Season, to be fair. But he also provides an 80% AoE DR as a status, which can be stolen, so you gotta be careful about that if they have Tina or Nurgle or whatnot. However, when it works, you get numbers like these. Easy. So to wrap up the armors, I have a simulated shield fighter example with Duo Fjorm. I don't have near save on her because I just don't have the fodder for this example, and it just wouldn't be worth it for me to do that. But I'll just show you how somebody with not great defense and no color advantage does against someone like Sigurd when they have shield fighter, as it becomes more accessible. Zero. And in this particular case, there's no double because she has full NFU and outspeeds. But yeah, as Shield Fighter becomes more available and as we get better armors, I think Sigurd will not be an issue. As soon as like attack, defense, shield fighter comes out, and you'll get that on Marnie, and you put it on Edelgard, like this will be a non-issue. But yeah, that's just a simulated example. So let's talk Vantage, and I think a good example to show this is the Queen of Vantage, Erica. I say Queen because she has like the most readily available Vantage of any unit at the moment. She just needs to meet the speed check. So let's show you what happens when she just gets the stones and nothing else. So another Vantage example would be with Bernie Paranoia support. So Paranoia gives out a status that makes it so if you are under 99%, you get Desperation and Vantage. However, there is a bit of a catch to this. You'll see if foe's range equals unit's range or number of penalty effects active on foe excluding stat penalties greater than or equal to 3, unit can counterattack before foe's first attack. So it's not just the HP condition. The enemy needs a certain number of penalties on them before this can go off. So
Fine.
I'm gonna do the Mythic Lumera thing, set up the stones, and then now the Vantage should proc. Let's take a look at somebody like Nurgle. Big green nuke. Yep. And then the Vantage goes off and he's good. And he steals his Gallop too. Another tactic you can try to employ is using a Brave Robin on offense. So you could do something like this, set up the stones, but then also move up, set up the ice. And for whatever reason, the AI just doesn't attack the ice a lot of the time. I think that the AI will only attack the... Look, I'll move up even further. I think the AI will only attack the ice if another unit can attack immediately afterwards. I could be wrong about that. If there are any AI wizards in the chat, definitely let me know. But yeah, this is definitely a thing. Once again, this loses to Celica Ring, but then Celica Ring loses to Gatekeeper. So you have to fill out a couple slots on your offense team to make this work, but there are checks and balances to everything. So for specific modes, I think in ARO Light Season, you basically have to bring Lumera or Goto. Either will do. I personally like bringing Lumera more because they can't take away the stones from you, at least on the first engage. If they have something like Miasma or Flared Sparrow, then yeah, they can take it away, but it's not like Goto's status where it can be taken away by Nurgle or by Tina, which I'll get to in a bit. On Astra Season, you have no such support to speak of from the Mythics, so you need to bring your own stones in the form of Brave Corrin or Fallen Lumera, and pair that with your near save of choice, or Ice Blocks. You can make a case for Aether being good into Sigurd because you can just stop him from playing the game on odd-numbered turns. However, on higher-level teams in defense, you'll find that almost everything has Firm Canto Curb Stomp, and furthermore, they'll have Robin with Firm Canto Curb Stomp, so you have two different layers to deal with. As far as ARD in Anima Season, Sigurd cannot touch Haethroon. Like, full stop. Even mine has minus defense and no merges and no stats from the S slots. He cannot touch her. I mean, she still takes damage from the AoE, but he just never does anything with his actual attacks. It's kind of insane how bulky this unit can be, especially with Lagu's friend. Yeah, Haethroon is a must-run unit, and in Dark Season, you don't really have anything like that, unfortunately, but like I said before, you can run Brave Female Robin with Firm Canto Curb Stomp to set up the stones and deny any Canto shenanigans. There's one more unit that I want to talk about, and you've probably picked up who it is by now. It's gonna be this little unit right here, baby. Yes, sir. I am the #1 Tina Preacher. You don't really see too much of this unit outside of ARD, but she fills her niche extremely well. And as all these new bonuses keep coming out, she keeps getting more and more value. She's like the antithesis to Brave Crom, in my opinion. So now, with the advent of Gallop, you can just steal Gallop and then give it to your team, which I mentioned earlier. and that just completely shuts down teams that are trying to Gale Force you with Sigurd. So Tina stonks keep rising. She is currently being run as a former right now, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you pick her up if you don't have a copy of her already. Just having a unit this unique in your barracks, it'll come in handy, I promise. So I think that just about covers everything I wanted to talk to in regards to this unit. It's my first time ever doing a unit breakdown. Last time was the first time I did a skill breakdown, and now I'm doing a unit, so definitely let me know what you think in the comments below, and if I should keep trying to do this. Yeah, the unit was fun and unique enough to warrant a video, so I gave it a shot. Thank you all for watching, I appreciate you, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.